Hi, welcome back. So we are at the last outline of Section 1, the relevance of research and data science to TaskRight accomplishment. In this final outline, we are going to visualize the academic definition of data. First of all, let me start with the general perception of data. How do actually people perceive data? I believe this is the general image of understanding of data. Actually, most people associate the term data with masses of numbers, or perhaps with the tables and graphs that display them, and with average and similar measures that summarize them. This mental image is reinforced daily by the abundance of numerical and graphical information in newspapers, magazines, television screens, and etc. The perception of perceiving data only like that, it's quite insufficient in its nature. So let's go ahead and try to explore the actual definition and meaning of data. Well, I would like you to look at the screen and tell me, what do you see in this image? Well, it seems to be a group of people have come inside the same room to make a decision on a certain subject. Now, usually this final image represented here as the data or the dashboard, with bunch of graphs and numbers and beautiful pictures that could help these people to make the decision. But let me actually take you back and tell you how the actual image that we see here was created from the very beginning. First of all, I'm going to start from the image itself. If I would have to look at this image as a data scientist and from data perspective, I could create kind of different groups, each group of them responsible to present the data as it is. Let's start, for example, I'm going to choose participant as a group one. I'm going to choose another group, for example, meeting, another group, avenue, another group, the subject. Let me show you how data could fit in here. Now, if I look at this picture or this setup, in terms of participant, I could look at some of their data. For example, the age of the participant, the gender, maybe the education, and many other attributes. If I look at this image in terms of the meeting itself, well, it's obvious there have been, for example, time of the meeting, date of the meeting, maybe the duration, and many other attributes. If I look at it from avenue perspective, I might think of the location of the meeting, the physical location, perhaps the dimension of the room where they are sitting, maybe the capacity of that room, etc. If I look at the picture from subject perspective, there is, of course, a title for what they are discussing. There is maybe outlines, other concern, for example, the focus of the subject, etc. So you could see I have just created 4 different groups of data, and all of them, if I look at this image as a data scientist, I don't really look from subjective perspective who's sitting in the room, but I look at this matrix of data in a sort of a tensor where I see the image as a participant, as a meeting, as an avenue, as a subject, etc. Let us say there is a way that I could take all this group, different group of data, and I feed it into a box, change the color here. And this box somehow to be responsible to tell me how I'm going actually to collect, maybe organize, then present, and finally do some analysis. Close this box, which is taking the input of this data. Let's call this box with a name, maybe take the first letter of each of those attributes as the COPA box. Okay, and this COPA box, the output of this, yes, you guessed right, will be this image. So now you could see the visual presentation of data starting from the source. So you extract certain variables, reflect the definition of this image in a more objective way. Then for each group, you start to define certain attributes, and all of which you consider them as an input to this big box, which it will be the major discussion for the second book of this material. We're going to speak about the statistic and the essential analysis steps for the data. This image is ready to be presented back to the subject itself as a dashboard where it would help them to facilitate making the right decision. I hope this image now seems to be quite familiar to you, where we have discussed earlier the TRA image. That is the TRA image, and I have just brought the academic definition of data. Data is a collection of discrete values that convey information, describing quantity, quality, fact, statistic, other basic units of meaning, or simply sequence of symbols that may be further interpreted. Now, this is the academic definition of data, but we have shown that this definition is actually extracted in this particular example. We could see clearly now that each of these boxes in the green path of research, data would be extracted the same way we did in the first image. And in general, if you put them all together, you would start to extract those beautiful figures and tables and summaries that would help you to make the right decision. So by the end, you see quite clear that research and data, from graphical point of view, how both of them actually aim to eliminate this world of uncertainty and convey the world of knowledge based on fact, statistics, good numbers, and right methods. So at the end, we were able to convert this academic definition of data into a visual presentation, and we have seen the steps of taking this image and convert it into the steps and process, looking how to extract the data out of it. And then we went back and, of course, we linked all of it to the TRA graph. We are ready to move to the second section of this unit, and that is to start discussion on the philosophy of descriptive and inferential. See you then.